Welcome back, everyone, to Wisdom Unveiled. We're taking a deep dive, as always, into some really fascinating stuff. And this time, we're going to be exploring the Persian poet Hafez, Hafez Shirazi.
Yeah.
And we'll be using a really, really fascinating series of conversations that I've been just absorbing lately.
Oh, yeah?
Called Marfa.
Marfa fat.
Yeah, which features the incredible Iranian philosophers, Dr. Ebrahim Dinani and Dr. Esmail Mansouri Larijanii. Now, just real quick, this is a translation.
Right.
So there might be a few things here and there that, don't quite land perfectly in the translation, but I think we've got the essence of it.
For sure.
And I think you'll find this really fascinating.
Hafez is, he's really considered one of the greats, right? When you talk about Persian poetry and culture,
Right.
I mean, he's right up there. And what's so interesting about him is the way he takes these, really profound ideas about reality. Like, how do we perceive the world?
Yeah.
All this kind of heady philosophical stuff. And he weaves it into these verses about, earthly love and wine.
Right.
It's wild. It's why people are still talking about him, all these centuries later.
Absolutely. And to really, unpack this,
Mm.
We thought, what, let's take a single line.
Yeah.
One line from Hafez
Oh,
and just see how much we can get out of it. And the line we chose is, which means the reflection of your face fell in the mirror of the cup. The mystic laughed at the wine falling into a raw ambition. And we really want to focus on this first part, the that reflection in this mirror of the cup.
That's where the juice is, right?
Yeah.
What's Hafez even talking about here? So let's break it down. So the reflection of your face, what's that all about?
Well, in this context, we're talking about tajalli.
Mm.
It's like a manifestation, a way that the divine, the Hak Tabarak wa Ta'ala, reveals itself, shows its beauty, its gentleness.
Okay.
And that's actually a really important distinction. Hafez is pointing to the Jamali aspects here, the attributes of grace and kindness.
Not so much like the, wrathful, powerful God.
Exactly. Not the Jalali, the majesty and might, right?
Yeah.
Those are important too. But here, it's about the beauty and gentleness.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? Hafez is saying we can't just directly apprehend God.
Oh, interesting.
It always comes through these glimpses, these manifestations.
So it's like you can't stare at the sun.
That's a perfect analogy. You can't look right at the sun, but you can see its light everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the divine works for Hafez. I love that. Okay, so we can't just look at God directly.
Yeah.
We're seeing sort of reflections of the divine.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what about this reflection in the mirror of the cup?
Right. So first, the keys, right? The cup.
Okay.
It's way more than just a drinking vessel.
Right. It's got to be symbolic of something.
Oh, yeah. It's huge. It's a symbol for the pure and clear heart of the Qs, the perfected human being. You think about figures like Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or the imams, or the saints. These are the people who embody this.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the cup is the pure heart.
Exactly. And this connects back to this divine saying, Hisisu, which means I love to be known.
Oh, wow.
God wants to be known, to see himself reflected, and that pure heart, that's the perfect mirror.
Because it's so clear, it's reflecting without any distortion.
Right. It's the clarity that comes from pure love. Yeah.
So it's like a perfectly still pool of water.
Yes.
And the reflection is just pristine. That's a really lovely image. Now, you mentioned a specific saying, I think, related to this whole idea.
Oh, yeah. The Hadith Qudsi, it says, Ose omo Qudsiya.
Which means?
Whoever sees me has seen God. And that's the key to understanding this mirror of the cup.
Wow.
It's saying that in someone who's reached that state of perfection, the divine is so fully present that seeing them, it's like seeing God himself.
So they become a window almost onto the divine.
Exactly. And this brings up this really interesting point. When we speak, we're kind of inviting people into our own understanding of God.
Oh, that's fascinating. I never thought of it that way.
Right. We can only invite people to the God we know, the God we've perceived. But the Sayosi, because they reflect the divine perfectly, they can truly invite others to God as he is.
I get it. It's like all those philosophers and thinkers we talk about, they're all trying to grapple with the divine in their own way, through their own limited understanding.
Exactly. But the prophet, right, he offers the most complete invitation, the clearest reflection.
Okay, so we've got this pure heart as the cup, this perfect reflection of the divine. And then the line uses the word consig. It fell.
Right.
Is that just a passive thing that happens?
No, it's a moment. It's the moment when that divine manifestation happens in the perfected human.
Oh, wow.
It's like a realization of what's already there. And then we get to the iyuje, the laughter of the wine. Now, the wine, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But here, it's about what happens in the cup when that reflection appears.
So like something shifts.
Yeah, it's like a shimmering or a movement. Think of it like a joyful stirring.
Oh, like an effervescence almost, like a celebration.
Exactly.
Okay, so the divine reflects, and it creates this joyful movement. And then we get to that second part. Hu seek. The mystic laughed at the wine, falling into a raw ambition.
Uh-huh.
So who is this mystic?
So the kuchia, this is someone with marifat, this deep experiential knowledge of God, what you might call gnosis.
Right, so they're not just a casual observer.
No, they're the real deal. In fact, here, the kuchia is the one with that pure heart, the one we've been talking about.
Oh, interesting.
Right, the one where the divine has manifested.
And this mystic, upon seeing all this, this reflection, this laughter of the wine, falls into krishi, a raw ambition.
Right.
Now, that doesn't sound very spiritually advanced.
Right, and that's the point. It's like the mystic, seeing this, thinks, okay, I can go further. I can reach the ulchashi, the very essence of the divine.
So they're getting a little ahead of themselves.
It's a natural human tendency. We want to grasp the ultimate reality, see it all.
Yeah.
But Hafez is saying, hold on, you can't do that. You can't reach the uchishi. It's beyond us.
Okay.
We can't comprehend it, let alone attain it.
So what's the path then, if you can't, go straight to the source?
The path is through these tajalli, these manifestations. Remember, we talked about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as the embodiment of all the divine names and attributes.
Yeah.
That's the fullness of the divine right there in the Soshi Saw. There's nothing beyond that.
I'm starting to see it. So it's not about, going higher. It's about seeing more deeply.
You got it. It's about experiencing the divine through its beautiful and accessible manifestations, especially in that perfected human being.
Okay, now let's talk more about this yan, this light and perception.
Oh, yeah.
How do those fit into all that?
Light.
Light.
This is fundamental for Hafez, right? It's how we understand reality. And this means like a ray or a beam of light that's directly connected to this yan. There's this beautiful verse that really gets at this. Yan soing kuno tiap ko makita. Yek sure. It's Johamane.
No shake you like, yeah, can't show it.
I know.
Yes.
There is no gaze that is not illuminated by the light of your face. The dust of your path is the collyrium of the eye of insight.
Wow.
And collyrium, that was like an ancient eye medicine, right?
Yeah.
To help people to see better.
So it's like the dust from the path of the divine gives us spiritual sight.
Exactly. All perception is touched by the divine light.
Every gaze illuminated by the light of your face, that's incredible imagery.
Right. And it goes back to that question of reflection. Are we seeing the light itself or a reflection of it?
It's like with the sun, right? We see the sunlight, but not the sun itself.
Exactly. And Hafez connects the face of the beloved, to a K, this pure, undiluted light. And remember, the beloved in Hafez could be earthly, could be divine.
Right. It's always this beautiful ambiguity. So when Hafez talks about the light of your face, it's not just poetry, it's pointing to something real.
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Dinani points out that it's talking about the Ju'in of God, that beauty and gentleness. And this links right back to the Quran. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Allah nurus samawati wal ard.
Yeah.
It's so direct, so powerful.
Compared to, some of the really dry philosophical terms you sometimes get?
Absolutely. And this puts Hafez squarely in the Ishraqi school of thought, the illuminationists.
The illuminationists.
Where light is the fundamental reality. It's even before being, before existence.
So everything comes from this light.
That's the idea. Nur is primer. And this isn't just physical sight, right? Not just use it. It's also spiritual contemplation. It's intellectual attention. Any kind of insight, we talk about someone being AIA or E, they have deep insight.
Right, right.
They see beyond the surface. And Hafez is saying all of that, all those ways of seeing are touched by this array of the light of truth, the light of God.
So it's not just that we see because there's light, it's that we understand, we perceive because of this light.
Yes. And think about this. Light doesn't need anything else to make it visible, right? It just is.
It's self-evident.
That's the point. And when it shines, everything else becomes visible. It's the principle of visibility. And Suhrawardi, he really emphasized this definition of
So it's both self-evident and illuminating.
Exactly.
And Rumi, he talks about this too, right? I love that line. The light of the eye is from the light of the heart. The light of the heart is the light of God. So beautiful.
Isn't it? It's all connected. There's this hierarchy of light. It's all one light manifesting at different levels. So the physical light, that's like the lowest level. Then you have the light of the heart, then the light of intellect, eklau, and that's considered nuri, luminous itself.
So our minds are like literally illuminated by this light.
Yes. And it all goes back to the source, the light of lights, which is God.
Wow. Okay, now let's go back to the wine in our opening line.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the laughter of the wine, but what's the bigger meaning of wine in Hafez's poetry?
Oh, it's such a rich symbol. You know, literally, of course, it's intoxicating.
Right.
But in Hafez, it goes way beyond that. It often represents pure love, but even more importantly, it's about marifat gnosis.
Gnosis, that direct knowledge of God.
Exactly. It's like an unlimited, overflowing understanding of the divine. And it reminds me of the descriptions of the wines of paradise in the Quran, like Oshe, Ekhore, those kinds of descriptions.
Those aren't just like fancy cocktails.
No, they're metaphors. They point to different levels of knowledge and experience, all coming from the divine.
So these wines, they're like paths to deeper understanding.
Think of them like streams, all flowing into the pool of Kauthar.
The pool of Kauthar.
That signifies this abundance of grace and knowledge coming from God.
Yeah.
And the word A-Sheh itself means abundant.
Abundant.
Nothing in the universe is as plentiful as marifat gnosis. It's mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, you compare the size of the cosmos to the depth of understanding, it's no contest.
It's almost like marifat contains the universe, not the other way around.
That's a good way to put it. Marifat has the capacity to understand the world.
That's huge. Okay, so this connects to that other verse we were looking at.
The one about the light of the wine.
Yes, the Yunyasha. The mystic knows the hidden secret from the light of the wine.
That's right. That's the marifat that's reflected in the heart of the sasuts. And each of us receives a portion of that in that universal manifestation.
Based on our capacity, our kirchas, like how much we can understand.
Exactly.
And this idea of inner understanding, that ties in with the Indusha, the bird of dawn, who sees the true meaning of the flowers.
Ah, yes. That's a beautiful one.
Unisheje saiz gopia lasich.
It just gets this.
And that means?
Only the bird of dawn knows the explanation of the collection of flowers, for not everyone who reads leaves understands the meanings.
So it's not enough to just, like, read about things.
Exactly. You need something more.
So who is the...
Uyuyo.
It's the awakened heart, the Kiye-shi, or, the Gyo-shi, the perfected human. They're the ones who are awake, even in the Uju, the darkness of the world of multiplicity.
The world of, like, all this stuff, all these distractions.
Exactly. It's about inner awakening. It's about the heart, not just the mind. You can study all you want, Yishue, but that doesn't mean you understand. The Uhyue, that's the prophets,
To profit.
They're the ones who are awake and speaking truth in a world that's asleep.
Okay, so it's about, like, not just reading, but, like, being awake, having that inner light.
Exactly.
Now, another thing that Hafez talks about a lot is this idea of the jealousy of love.
Ah, yes.
And how some truths have to be hidden.
Like in that line, Hishu Ishu 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 Ishu.
Which means, love cut off the tongue of all the elect, lest the secret of his sorrow fall into the mouth of the common.
So why the secrecy?
Well, and yes, cutting off the tongue, it's not literal. Right. It's saying that the sunts, those closest to God, they can't reveal everything.
Oh, interesting.
Like in the story of Prophet Khidr and Prophet Moses, Khidr couldn't explain everything.
Yeah, right.
Or that saying from Imam Ali about knowledge that would cause unrest if it was revealed.
So some knowledge is, like, dangerous.
Yeah.
Too much for us to handle.
It's about our capacity. The jealousy of love, it's not like possessiveness. It's that we still see separation, otherness.
We're not ready for unity?
Not yet. And so some things have to be kept hidden. This is you, Arshie. The ear of the uninitiated is not the place for his message.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like we need to be prepared to hear certain things.
Exactly.
And this leads us to this beautiful idea of the thirst for divine knowledge. Like it never ends.
Right. That's what those lines are about. Ukwan huego.
Which means?
We have seen the reflection of the beloved's face in the cup. O unaware one, of the pleasure of our constant draught. The pleasure of our constant draught, the cup, that's the heart. It always needs that reflection.
Always seeking.
Always seeking. And that leads to a constant drinking, ooh. It's pure joy.
This constant drinking from the cup.
Yes. And that thirst for marifat, for love, it never goes away. It's endless, ooh, yo.
Wow. And the okyu, it's not just wine, it's
uyarhi, this bubbling, flowing gnosis. It's uyarhi, boundless gnosis, and it leads to the spiritual, this intoxication. But it's not like getting drunk. It frees you from illusions, brings you back to yourself.
So it's like a unification.
Yes.
And ultimately, it's love and this gnosis that are the real, the eternal things. Okay, we're almost at the end of our line here. What about that last couplet? What does that mean?
That beggar, whom you again see in the hermitage, our work has fallen to the face of the cupbearer and the edge of the cup. It's saying, you might see this seeker, this beggar, in familiar places, like the Yuli, the hermitage. But their focus has shifted.
It's not the same.
Their whole preoccupation is now with the divine, the Hulue, the face of the cupbearer, and the Esho, all the edge of the cup.
The way to receive that divine knowledge.
Right. They're lost in that love, in that act, that spiritual ecstasy. And Ibn Sina, he talked about this as this profound joy, deeper than pleasure.
So even though they're still here in the world, their being is somewhere else.
Completely consumed by that pursuit.
It's incredible how much Hafez can say in just a few lines. He's giving us this whole picture of how the divine works, how we can connect to it through this image of the reflected face in the cup.
It's about recognizing the limits of our understanding.
That we can't just grasp the essence directly.
Right. The path is through love and gnosis, that ever-increasing understanding which is symbolized by the why. It's about going deeper, not higher, and finding joy in that pursuit.
So it's not about that raw ambition to see everything at once, but to keep seeking, keep drinking from the cup. It's a journey.
A beautiful journey.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Like,
Well,
how can these simple lines hold so much wisdom?
Right.
What do you think? How does this idea of the divine manifesting in a perfected person, how does that resonate with you?
It's a lot to unpack, isn't it?
What about those raw ambitions that we all have, things we want to grasp, to control? How do we reframe those in light of this marifat? It's really something to sit with.
It is. Hafez invites us to a lifetime of reflection.
A constant deep dive.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for joining us on this exploration of Hafez, and we hope you'll continue to explore these ideas to keep diving deeper into this beautiful wisdom. Until next time.